I clicked the. There we go. All right, guys. This is Tom Cook. It's Wednesday night, January 21st. Dennis Crowley and I are here. Dennis just completed his SOMIFA second-round playoff game with Scott's Buffalo Bills. Dennis won that game, 27-13. Dennis was leading handily for most of the second half. Buffalo scored a late touchdown to make it 27-13. I broadcast the game, broadcasting it kind of like a radio-style football broadcast. That's on the SOMIFA section of the Strat Forum. I hope you check it out. I hope you like it. Hopefully you've already listened to it before you listen to this. Otherwise, spoiler alert, I just ruined the result for you. So,
First of all, thank you, Tom. You did a great job on that
uh,
radio playback. I haven't listened to everything yet, but you are a natural play-by-play announcer. Let's give Tom a round of applause. Very good. Very impressive, actually. I'm serious.
thanks. Yeah, I've always been pretty good at sports broadcasting. I just developed other interests, so I didn't really pursue it. And even now I have other interests, so it's fun to get to do it like a hobby, so I enjoyed that. So we're going to interview Dennis about the game. So Dennis, coming to this game, the Bills, the defending champions, had scored over 500 points. Your team is 13-3. Bills were only 10-6. Sorry, someone was at my door. What were your thoughts coming into the game?
Well, I knew this game is one of those that could go either way. Scott had a great season. He has a fantastic team. If you get a couple of those big runs from Adrian Peterson, you're in a lot of trouble. So I knew it was going to be nip and tuck. It would come down to a few plays. I was actually surprised that the game wasn't closer. I was very fortunate. I got some luck on some special teams plays. I blocked a punt, and I got a safety, and I had a couple of bombs too. So that was really the difference. When I got up 21 points late in the game, it was just a matter of let him do whatever he wants, as long as he takes up a lot of the clock. And that's what happened. He didn't recover an onside kick, but on the very next play, I intercepted it to end it after he scored a touchdown to cut it to 14. But he called a good game. He had a good talent. Just too many of the rolls landed on my cards at the wrong times for him.
Yeah, when this game started, Buffalo won the toss and had their offense moved the ball really well for the first quarter and a half of the game, but they kept having to settle for field goals. They had a drive, the first drive that ended in a field goal. They had a 3-0 lead. Then you got the ball. You moved into Buffalo territory. This is the first possession, your first possession of the game, middle of the first quarter. You were facing a 4th and 9 at the Buffalo 43-yard line, and I thought you were out of your mind. I was wondering. I mean, I understand the no man's land concept. I'll go for it aggressively between the 33 and the 39 or something like that. Is 4th and 9 at the 43-yard line, and you threw a short pass. It wasn't like you were like, I'm going to throw a screen pass and try to get lucky, or I'm going to do a run and maybe get lucky, but at least the turnover on downs won't be as bad for me. Is that now in that situation during the season or in general? Is that a place where you'll go for it? And what made you decide to go for it tonight? Because that really surprised me.
Yeah, like you said, you'd go for it between the 33 and the 39. What's 40 yards amongst friends? The 43-yard line. If I punted, there's a very high likelihood that it would have gone into the end zone and wound up as a touchback. So you gain 23 yards in field possession. I thought it was worth the risk. I'm going to pick up that play maybe 40 to 50% of the time, depending on his defensive calls. He does have a strong pass rush, so that entered my mind, but my pass blocking is decent. And the reason why I went short pass instead of flat pass was at that point he wasn't moving his linebackers quite as much. So go ahead, take a shot. You might get a must run on Wilson's card. You might hit one of his completion numbers, or like what happened, you get a good roll on the D card. It was a defender X or plus 50 or short gain, and the 4 defender didn't make the roll against the white die 6. So.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Russell's got an excellent short pass right card, especially when you factor in the must runs, and probably in that situation, maybe a 2 to 5 is going to get you a first down on his must run column. So you were rewarded by getting the first down and then driving shortly after that down towards inside his 10-yard line, and you capped off that with a touchdown. So you go from the conventional play would have been a punt to you go for it. You're aggressive. you get the conversion, you get a touchdown. That's a big deal. In a game where the final score was only look at a game where there was only 40 points total scored, you got 7 as a result of not punting that on that drive.
Yeah, and it took some of the pressure off because after you go up 7-3, he had a great first drive, he had a great second and a great third drive. He just wound up having to settle for field goal opportunities, one made, one missed. But even if he would have made that other field goal, the last field goal, I would have been down 9-7, and he used up maybe half of Adrian Peterson's runs in those 3 drives. So I was happy with that. Getting that touchdown there made it a lot easier for me to be aggressive on defense as well.
Yeah, Buffalo did respond with some good offense and good defense. Again, the first quarter and a half of the game, the Bills were playing well. They had to punt in the second drive, but they forced you to a 3-and-out. On their third drive, they got a field goal to make it 7-6. Then they forced you to punt on another basically 3-and-out, 4-and-out. You had a first down in there somewhere. Then they came down. Late second quarter, got down inside the red zone again, 2-10 field goal attempt. Now they're trailing 7-6. They're moving the ball really well. West coasting you to pretty much with flat passing and running with Peterson. At that point, when it's 7-6, he's about to kick the field goal. Are you feeling concerned, like, boy, I'm having a hard time stopping the Bills here?
Well, you always have a hard time stopping the Bills. If you look at his statistics, with that Adrian Peterson card and the way he approaches using that West Coast style of offense, his completion percentage for Jay Cutler, not a premium card, is like 64%. So
yeah, Cutler had when I played that team the last game of the regular season, and Cutler had a much better flat pass card than I realized, and there was certainly a problem for me. Now this was, I think, big and frustrating. First of all, you're already settling for field goal attempts. It's your second straight drive inside the 20 that you got to settle for a field goal attempt. I'm referring to the Buffalo coach with Scott, and now you miss a 2-10 field goal, and you just got to feel like, man, I'm already getting stymied here. I'm already not able to punch in the end zone, and now I miss the gimme field goal, and I'm still losing 7-6. Now Dennis is going to get the ball. What was going through your mind when he missed that field goal?
Well, just happy that it shanked. I mean, like I said, even if he would have made it, I'm down by 2, and he's kind of taking the brunt of his offense, and am still within a field goal of retaking the lead. But when he missed it, it was just icing on the cake. Again, that made it a lot easier for me to open up my offense, take some chances. At that point, I had gone, like you said, I had one good drive and then two drives that were nowhere. So when I got that after the missed field goal, I was able to put together another decent drive and get my own field goal. So instead of being down 9-7, I was up 10-6.
Yeah, you responded with a beautiful 11-play, 57-yard drive. You had 4 first downs in that drive, and you took that 10-6 lead. You were stopped in the red zone yourself at the Buffalo 11, and now there was only going to be, and that was at about 2 minutes left. So there's only 1:45 left in the half. It's Seahawks 10, Buffalo 6. It's been a good first half. The Bills have played well. It's only 10-6. What's the big deal, right? Maybe he's got a chance to get something going in the 2-minute offense. When you have a 2-minute offense, everyone likes to run the ball with the good rushing cards, as we all know. Sometimes you get through good passing opportunities because guys are aware that you're going to try and run with AP or CJ Spiller or Jamal Charles or whatever kind of card you've got that's explosive on wrong. But Buffalo doesn't go anywhere. He goes 3-and-out. From that point on, it seemed like AP kind of disappeared from the game for about a quarter and a half, not in terms of not getting carries. He had plenty of carries, but from that point on, he was rolling 5 in his card. If you were wrong, you got a +1 on off tackle, I think, when you were wrong on a 10. Your defensive guys were making plays. AP really was, I know he ended up with good stats, but it seemed to me like in the most important part of the game, that late second quarter, through the early fourth quarter, he was pretty much shut down. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, like I said, it was landing on my cards quite a bit. And he just never seemed to be able to hit his good roll. Early in the game, he was hitting that 6 and 8 off tackle quite a bit for short gains. And then when Scott got behind, I thought he was trying to hit the end runs maybe a little more. And that Adrian Peterson card on end run is not as juicy in the middle part. It's good at the edges, but in the middle, you're getting +5, +7, guessed wrong. So it's not as it's not as deadly. It's not as much of a weapon as you'd like.
Yeah, there's some plus threes in there. It can be a little chunky at times with that card. So you stop him to a 3-and-out. All right, then I'm thinking there's 52 seconds left in the half, and I'm thinking, and he's at his own 18-yard line, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to punt the ball, and Dennis is going to have a good chance to come down and kick a field goal, make it a 13-6 game, and I'm thinking, that'd be kind of nice for Dennis, but not a disaster for Buffalo. He's got Marquette King, okay, who's got a block on 12, and he gives up a long gain on 12 on the opponent punt return section of his card. We just discussed that vis-a-vis the SSFA draft. I'm not a fan of that card for a team that's trying to win a championship, even though the guy's a great punter in the NFL. I understand that. Sure enough, you play for the block 52 seconds before the half. You block the punt at his own 18. You recovered it at his own 18 or whatever, and you're in business. I mean, describe the elation that you felt or the feelings you felt when that block came up.
Yeah, it's hard to describe it as elation. I'm just, in these playoff games, any one play can swing it. What kills you are turnovers and big plays. And up to that point, I had avoided the turnovers, and this was a big one. This was a big turnover. It gave me a short field. When I started the drive that I wound up having a field goal on, I was trying to use up the entire clock so I would get the ball back in the second half. Now I scored my field goal with 2 minutes left, and that gave him time to put a drive of his own together. When he was forced to punt, and I could have been more aggressive in my timeouts, but it's 3rd and 6, I think, and 2nd and 10 or whatever. I didn't want to give him extra time or extra timeouts if he did pick up that first down. So I played it conservative. The block punt was just that's a huge play. And even better is I was able to go down and cash it in and get in the end zone. I went for it with 8 seconds left on a 3rd down, I believe. Now, if I would have gotten a penalty or something like that, that could have messed me up, I guess. But I would have at least had a chance for a field goal, I think. So I was happy with the field goal, but the touchdown made it even better.
Yeah, no. When you that was on a 3rd and goal. Basically, when you recovered the block punt at his 18, I said you had all 3 timeouts, and I said, boy, Dennis is going to punch this in easily and go up 17-6. What a disaster for Buffalo that would be. And you pushed down, sure enough, to about the 6-yard line pretty quickly. I think you had 1st and goal of the 6, and then you had 2 straight plays of either incomplete or no yards, whatever. But whatever the result was, you didn't advance any closer. So then you had 3rd and goal at the 6, 8 seconds left. And we all know you don't get a touchdown that play, you're probably going to kick the field goal. So that was a huge play. You threw a short pass to Josh Gordon. He double-teamed elsewhere. You got a receiver reading. You got a long game, believe it or not, 3 on Josh Gordon, which was wasteful. But it was a 6-yard touchdown. It made it 17-6. That was a huge difference. And if I'm Buffalo, I'm thinking I missed this field goal. It could have been 10-9. Maybe I hold him. It could be 13-9, but but I missed the field goal. He blocks the punt. He gets a 3rd down touchdown. 8 seconds left. 17-6. I'm feeling like it just feels like that type of game that I'm not going to win. And I know you play through it anyway. You try to overcome. I understand all that, but I don't know about you, but every now and then, don't you get that feeling in a game like, what, the way things are going here, I'm just not going to win this game?
Yeah, and there's times where that is exactly what happens. I've been on the other end of this, where I get my punt blocked, I get throw a couple of picks, and it just seems no matter what you do, you get him constantly guessing wrong, and it goes on the exact reading that you need to minimize damage. So that's what it felt like a little bit. And on top of that, going up 17-6, I was going to get 17-6. I was getting the ball back to start the second half. So boom, that's just really tough. You're down 11 from down 4, and you don't even get the ball right away.
Yeah, I feel like so much in so many straddle games, because let's face it, most games are not going to be a blowout, especially in the first half. I feel so much like those last couple of minutes of the first half and who's receiving the kick in the start of the second half always seem to be so huge in setting up the stage for how the game's going to play out from the middle of the third quarter on. And it is just so awesome when you have the ball the last 2 minutes of the half and you got a good offense and you can get a score and then you receive the kick to start the third quarter. You just feel like, oh, this is great. I feel like I'm getting like a turnover or getting a free opportunity here for 10 points or something.
You're getting that possession.
Yeah, so the third quarter starts, and you guys force each other to punt. You move the ball about 25 yards, and you got to punt, and you punt him down to his 8-yard line. Okay, this is 5:24 to go in the third quarter, so there was not a lot going on before that. And then a huge play. You get a safety from Greg Hardy. I think it was on the asterisk pass rushing. That made it 19-6, and he has to punt. I feel like that was a huge play in the game, and further confirmation for Scott that things are not going his way. Look, when you're at your own 8 or 9, most of us are not afraid to pass. I think he has pretty good pass blocking, but you're taking a chance. And of course, you've got pass rushing. You've got a guy like Greg Hardy there. He made a couple of nice tackles for losses of yardage as well. That makes it 19-6. He punted to you, 3:54 to go in the third quarter. You go 3 and out. He moves the ball a little bit, has to punt it back to you. Suddenly, in the fourth quarter, it's 19-6. We've got the 2 highest scoring teams in the league. Each scored over 500 points, but hey, that can happen in any game. And then here is where you really clinch the victory. In my view, look, anything can happen. We saw it happen in my game, but you get the ball at your own 9-yard line, 1 minute into the fourth quarter, not even. Okay, Russell Wilson gets sacked for an 8-yard loss by Jared Allen. Setting up 2nd and 18 at your own 1-yard line. Okay. Now we all know, we all in our heads have the image of the 97-yard touchdown, the 99-yard touchdown. We all like to throw those bombs when we're out of our own 1 or 2-yard line, because if we ever get it, we'll never forget it. Especially in a big game, it's awesome, right? So sure enough, you go up top to Nate Washington. Now again, I felt like you've got Nate Washington and Josh Gordon. Very good long pass receivers. He's got 4s covering them, and of course the 4 strong safety. That was going to be dangerous for him at any time during the game. And you were, I think, judicious in not going deep too often, but going deep occasionally. And sure enough, you got, I think, a receiver. Was it on Nate Washington's card for a long gain, or was that on Russell Wilson's card? I forget.
No, it was a receiver card, and it hit his long gain on a 6 or a 7 or an 8, something around there, around one of the middle numbers. And
yeah,
it was a long game, right or wrong, I believe.
No, yeah, that's right. But he guessed run. The defense had guessed run, and you had a long pass to Nate Washington, defended by a 4. There was a man in the zone. Your receiver got a long gain. It was a 38-yard completion, but there was a 15-yard personal foul tacked on, which brought you from 2nd and 18 at your own 1 to 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 44. What a turn of events! And I know you have spoken about doing this when I've seen you write about strategy, and some guys were asking for advice about a year or 2 ago about the old double bomb, go right back to the guy right away. Buffalo had been run king Marshawn Lynch a little bit. I really didn't like that strategy. I think Marshawn, you guess run, he's not going to kill you on a 6-short game, right and wrong, or something like that. I know he's got good positive yards, but to go run key and give you shots down the field at long past no men defended by those 4s, I felt that was unnecessarily risky. I would not have gone for that myself. And this is where it finally burned him. He run-keyed Marshawn Lynch. You went double bomb right back to Nate Washington, the 4. No men in zone. Defender X a long gain. Boom, touchdown. 2 plays, 99 yards. Instead of 19-6, it's now 25-6. You go for the 2-point conversion, which you convert to make it 27-6. I felt like that was the ball game. Anything could happen, but did you feel that way?
I did too, yeah, and it reminded me a lot of Russell Wilson on Sunday. He hit the 35-yarder, or the 30-yarder, 35-yarder, then right back to the bomb. I had a feeling he was going to call run. A lot of coaches will run after they hit a big pass play, or pass after they hit a big run play. And it's just one of those things. When you hit a long gain on a pass, you think, oh God, I've gotten lucky. I better sacrifice to the strat gods and call a run to show that I'm humble. Hey, screw that stuff. Go big or go home. That was my philosophy. I knew I needed to make some big plays, and that was an opportunity. And like you said, if he didn't guess wrong, I still have defender X on a long gain. Or both of those guys have good receiver cards, and he wasn't doubling both of them at the same time. So he was doubling Gordon or Washington. I didn't see a lot of double teams against me.
Yeah, and also, what's so nice with a good running quarterback like Russell Wilson, you can go deep a lot more with those running backs. With those quarterbacks, I used to do with Michael Vick a lot, because if they get pass, you've got like 18 units on your card, or whatever, 12, 15 units of must run, where you easily get 5+ yards. So it's not as much of an all or nothing play as it is for your more traditional pocket passer, where you're pretty much looking at 1st and 10 or 2nd and 10. You still can get a 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 3 from throwing a bomb on 1st and 10 because of the must run. So you either get a long pass wrong or a long pass right, but hey, maybe I get a must run, and it still works out reasonably well for me. So after that, he drove down the field, took a long time. Like you said, you were giving him everything underneath. Middle of the 4th quarter, 27-6, Cutler gets picked off for the first time in the game, and that just cemented it even further. And, last couple of minutes, he gets a touchdown to make it 27-13 with a minute 22 left. He recovers an onside kick. Cutler gets picked off again. And the final was Seattle 27, Buffalo 13. The Seahawks 13-3 move on to the semifinals. The Buccaneers have already advanced via victory over the New York Jets. My team 44-34. The 13-3 Dallas Cowboys, coached by Zeb Strong, advanced with a 31-21 victory over the Vikings. We've got a game that's scheduled for Sunday night. NFL edge San Francisco 49ers 9-7. Defeated the Houston Texans in the wild card round. Now I have a tall task in front of them. They're traveling to Tennessee to take on the 14-2 Titans, the number 1 seed for that last spot in the semifinals. Any other comments, Dennis?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, I was just giving you a rundown of the playoffs. Saying what guys have reached the semifinals, and also reminding our listeners that Sunday night NFL Ed's 9-7 Niners will be visiting the 14-2 number 1 seed Tennessee Titans, coached by John Madden. And yes, that's his real name, although he's not the real John Madden, if you know what I mean. To try and get the last spot in the semifinal.
Let's talk real quick about your playoff loss. How are you feeling now? Are you feeling like the Green Bay Packers must be after that improbable comeback when you were up 17 points heading into the 4th quarter? Are you good? Or you have gotten over it already?
Well, thank you so much for bringing up the very painful defeat. You might want to bring up my visit to the dentist or maybe the proctologist as well when we're done with that. I don't know, but no, I'm fine with it. Look, that was a great game. I had a great time playing that game. My team played great in that game. It's not a very good team for the year. The defense is awful. Tim's a real good coach. You got Tony Romo and all that offensive personnel against my defense. I mean, to stop him at all, it was just ridiculous. And, I don't know how you feel. I know you're a real good coach. I know you overachieve a lot. I know you have a lot of success. So maybe you feel like, oh, anytime I lose in the playoffs, it's bad. And I feel like any team of mine that's in the playoffs can go all the way. To me, I was like, for this team, even to have a chance to be winning that game and be close and to play so well and to even have a chance to make the semifinals was great for me, And, I do a lot of work, as you know, with the spreadsheets, and I felt like, I had a lot of things go my way in that game, but I wasn't blocking punts and having guys miss 2 to 10 field goals. Look, you played a great game. That was not an all lucky victory at all. You played a great game there against Buffalo. But I felt like the spreadsheets really drove my strategy of that game on both sides of the ball, and are what helped me get to my 34-17 lead. So I felt a little vindicated that, hey, these things are valuable and they are helping me out. And my hope is that as my team gets better in SOMIFA, and it is getting better because I've got Andrew Luck and a lot of young guys, and I got draft picks. I traded away Derek Johnson. I don't know if you saw that. That was a risky move by me, maybe a bad move. That's SSFA. Now I'm confusing teams, as I always do. But no, I'm fine with it. I'm happy with it. I didn't think that team was going to go anywhere anyway. You put that team on the field against Dallas or Seattle or Tennessee in the semifinal, and that's going to be probably a one-way trip to Palookaville for my New York Jets in that game. So no, I'm fine with it. Tim deserved it. Tim played a good game. Got the breaks in the end, but a lot of things went against him in the first 3 quarters. So no, yeah, I feel good about the game. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Yeah. It was a lot of fun, and again, a lot easier to feel that way when you have a team that really is not supposed to go anywhere anyway.
Yeah, you did a great job. Absolutely. We've gone over this before. Getting that team even within a sniff of the playoffs shows that your spreadsheet system has a lot of merit, and you've done a lot of good preparation for your opponent, and you could see that again in the game versus Tim. You were right on the money with a lot of your double teams and a lot of your movement. and you knew where to hit him. You knew where to go after him, and it was that old chess game, the feint within a feint within a feint. And you guys have played each other several times, but that would have been a sweet upset. I know Tim's called it a mild upset because because he has LaShawn McCoy, but that would have been a huge upset because he has LaShawn McCoy. I mean, that guy's a beast, and I'm glad that you were able to put a little scare into him. But nobody's looking forward to facing that card in the playoffs, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Tim make it to the semifinal or the finals if he hits the right numbers with LaShawn McCoy, despite having a few weaker pieces on defense.
I'll tell you this, and maybe it's strap rivalry or whatever. I mean, Tim and I played each other probably for at least 10 years. We were co-founders, and he's the real driving force behind the IFL, Retro Continuous Draft League, IFL franchise, started with the 1964 season. So we played a lot of games and a lot of competition with each other over the years. I don't want to see Tim make the Super Bowl with that team, cause, partly because it would be such an overachievement. For that team with that defense to make the Super Bowl, wow, that would be a hell of a job by him. So I don't want to see Tim get that level of overachievement accolade. If he had like a real strong, 14-2, 13-3 team on both sides of the ball, then I wouldn't carry the weight because I'd be like, yeah, sure, that team can easily make the Super Bowl, So, but there's a little bit of rivalry. Tim and I have a rivalry. We get along well now. We just had we get along well, but there's a little bit of rivalry there, and also because I would be jealous, feeling like, man, my team, I had him. I was up 34-17. I thought it was over. I thought I had him. I was up 34-7. I still coached like it wasn't over, but I thought it was over. I thought I had him, and for me, I was just thinking, Jesus, if I can get this team within one game of the Super Bowl, this team with 4s and 0s. I was playing 3 zeros and 5 4s on my starting defense with no pass rush, and look, you get the semifinal, and what if I get the semifinal, and the other guy's quarterback is hurt? It's like wow, maybe so anything can happen. But so yeah, it's nothing personal, Tim. I'm sure he says BS. It's definitely personal, but nothing personal, Tim. But you had a great victory there. You coached real well, as you always do. You deserved the victory, but here's where it stops. I don't want to see the Buccaneers. I don't want to see the Buccaneers ride the glory road into the Super Bowl. While my team is sitting crying on the sideline, Andrew Luck looking forlorn. He's got a towel wrapped around his head. He doesn't know what's going on.
Well, I for one, I would love to see him in the Super Bowl simply because if I make it there, I'd like to get another shot at him. He beat me in the regular season, and I would like to get my revenge by playing him in the finals. Now, next round, I gotta beat Zeb or NFL Ed, and that's not going to be easy. But I think I have the team to at least put up a good show and put up a good fight. You're
the 2 seed or the 3 seed?
The 2 seed.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, look. If Tim makes the Super Bowl, he's gonna have to beat somebody very good this round. So he will definitely have earned it because it's it's Zeb or you that he's gonna play, right? No,
he gets either Zeb or John. So he's gonna play the Titans or the Cowboys.
He's gonna play the Titans. Yeah, combined record of 27-5. 2 excellent coaches, 2 very strong teams. That Dallas team is pretty tricky. When I first looked at them, I played them earlier this year. I looked at them, I'm like, Josh McCown, come on, give me a break. I know the guy's got a great car, but in my head I'm like, Josh McCown, blah, blah, blah. But, he West Coast you to death with Josh McCown and Freddie Jackson. And he's got at least one of the pretty decent back. I forget who. But he West Coast to death.
Fred Jackson. Fred Jackson, Donald Brown.
Donald Brown was the other one, yeah. I thought it might be Donald Brown, wasn't sure. And Tim's team is susceptible to that. The linebacker 0-4-4s we saw in my game. And he's got a better running attack than I do, Dallas, with Freddie Jackson and Donald Brown, and probably better blocking. So we'll see. But like you said, that Tim's offense does not take a backseat to anybody. And when you go out there with Romo and LaShawn McCoy, Antonio Brown, Vernon Davis, Victor Cruz, very solid line, especially on the left side. He could score 35, 38 points on anybody in this league, especially because we don't do the double point defense. So yes,
Tom, I got to run, but thank you very
no
much.
problem.
Thanks for calling the game. Like I said, you're a natural, and I'd love to be able to call a game with you. I'll be your color commentator, and you can do the play-by-play.
Yeah, we're definitely going to make that happen. I don't think I can call the game Sunday night. I've got to wrap up some games with AW. Thank you, Dennis Crowley, for joining us. And I've got some last comments here for the crowd. Sunday night, SOMIFA quarterfinal. The commissioner, NFL ends San Francisco 49ers at 9-7, visiting Zeb Strong's Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? 13-3. To see what the Final Four will look like for SOMIFA following the 2013 season. Ed likes to use the year of the NFL season. So even though it's 2015, we're calling this the 2013 SOMIFA season, which took place in 2014. Tim Bolyer's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We spoke with them tonight. Dennis, the Seahawks now. We spoke with them, of course, with the victory over the defending champion Bills. And congratulations to Scott on a good season. Had a lot of bad luck in that game. Should have been a closer game. But Dennis did seem to have the advantage there. Even if it was a closer game, I felt like having called that game and watched it pretty closely. Scott won the title last year. Only 5 guys have won a SOMIFA championship, so Scott should feel good about that. The team takes a step back next year with Adrian Peterson's suspension and things like that. And, of course, having Jay Cutler, your team always takes a step back when you have Jay Cutler in Stratomatic nowadays, I feel. But Scott's a good GM, also a lot of talent on that team. So even if he takes a year off from competition next year, I think that club is in good shape going forward for many years, especially if AP resumes his NFL career. And those are the 3 teams that are in the semifinals right now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a lot of offense, a little shaky defense, very good coach. Dallas Cowboys, very strong, low turnover, prolific West Coast offense, good defense, excellent coach. Dennis Crowley, Seattle Seahawks, Marshawn Lynch pounding the rock, dangerous receiving targets, Russell Wilson running around, low turnover, pretty good card out of Russell Wilson, pretty good defense, excellent coach. So bottom line is you got to be a pretty good coach to get into the SOMIFA semifinals. It's a league, in my opinion, where the percentage of top flight coaches is higher than in any other league out there. Other guys are going to get upset that I said that, but I've played in a lot of these leagues. I've spoken to a lot of guys whose opinion I respect who have played in a lot of these leagues. And just SOMIFA, you got 24 teams in there. And I mean, gosh, 18, 19 really top-notch coaches, in my opinion. I feel like in pretty much every game that I play in the regular season, I'm seeing a real good coach. And I think everyone else out there who plays in SOMIFA feels the same way. So this might be our last show until after the Sunday night game, because there's really nothing else going on. All right, guys, this is Tom Cook. Wednesday night, this is our playoff post-game show. Look, this is all new to us. We're doing it a lot right now. I'm not going to promise you that we're going to be doing multiple shows a week next season or in the off season. But Dennis and I are both in SSFA together. I joined Autumn Wind this year, so we'll see. Maybe, look, I'm an NFL Ed guy. I love NFL Ed. I like his family of leagues, and that's where my priority and my focus is going to be. But, maybe we'll do some Autumn Wind Conference Championships, Super Bowl, perhaps. I don't know the guys in that league as well, but there's quite a few guys in that league that I do know. So you might get a little Autumn Wind action going on there as well. SSFA action you'll definitely get. Maybe we'll call like a game a month, pick out a game between 2 real good teams and call a game a month in the regular season. This takes a lot of time, you believe it or not. And I do have other things I'm trying to do, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. So we're going to ride it for a while, and we're definitely going to do periodic shows centered around events in the Draft Football online community. So you're going to get some SSFA action. You're going to get some Autumn Wind postseason action. You're certainly going to get SSFA playoff action. You're going to get a couple of big shows around the ratings when Strat releases them in July. The ratings, that's right. Then you're going to get another show when the ratings file comes out, the one with the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. Of course, you're going to get You're going to get fall draft preview shows. So there's a lot of stuff that we're definitely going to be doing all year long. We started this saying, let's do one and see how it goes. It went pretty well, centered around Derby's projections. That became 2 shows, of course. So now we're in it to win it. So I hope you enjoy listening. This really is supposed to be more of a podcast. We don't have a lot of video for you. Just that the technology with the Google Hangouts was very easy and convenient. All you do is pretty much log on, pop in your webcam, which is already on, right? Already plugged in, whatever. You pretty much log on and you start talking. And when you finish, you click the stop button and bang, it instantly creates a YouTube video. So that's easier for us than doing a podcast. So what you want to do with these shows is, put on your speakers, browse around the internet, walk around the house, listen to the radio. Unless you're overly fond of looking at Dennis and me. Not that there's anything wrong with that, to quote Jerry Seinfeld show. I don't know what you gentlemen are up to in your private lives. So this is Tom Cook saying goodnight on Wednesday night. Time for to log off and have a little dinner. Having a tuna steak with some diced onions and tomato. Going healthy tonight. Need to try and lose some weight. And I encourage you all to do the same if that's an issue for you. Good night, guys. This is Tom Cook signing off.